Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ultimate Strategy Podcast, your go-to podcast for everything strategy. Now, each week, stay tuned because we'll be releasing a new episode talking about a wide range of topics, really designed to help your business not only grow smarter, but also make strategy much more approachable and relatable. We want you to leave with key takeaways each week. Now, I'm Devina Patel, Strategy Execution Director at Cascade. Now, before we dive in, let me thank today's sponsor, Cascade. Now, Cascade is the #1 strategy execution platform. It really does help turn visions into reality. It works as the strategic brain of an organization. Now, thousands of incredible organizations use Cascade to really plan, execute, and track their strategies in one place, making sure that they can improve efficiency and speed up decision-making. Now, by successfully executing their strategies, Cascade customers are making an incredible difference in the world, from deploying life-saving vaccines to creating the fastest Formula One car. So if you want to get your team moving towards your vision in one centralized tool, take a look at Cascade at www.cascade.app. We will leave a link in the show notes. But now let's get into it. So today we're doing a brand story, which is definitely one of my favorite types of episodes. But we're going to be talking about a brand that's really, I would say, quietly but strategically making a huge impact in the athleisure space. And that is Adanola. And it wouldn't be right if I wasn't wearing it today for this episode recording as well. But really what they have done in this space, and what you might really know them for, is their kind of neutral toned leggings, a lot of gym wear, active wear, oversized sweatshirts. But actually, they are a masterclass in strategy execution. Now, from their product development to their community that they've created, their marketing is fantastic. And Adanola has showed that you don't need to be the loudest brand in the room. You just need to execute brilliantly. And another particular thing that I think is really inspiring about their strategy journey is that they have taken market share from legacy brands. Now, we all know the dominant giants, right? Like Nike, Lululemon, Gymshark, also a new front runner. But Adanola really identified a gap and they filled it perfectly. So while other brands leaned into kind of high performance, technical gear, Adanola really focused on versatility, stylish activewear, essentials, loungewear that actually could go seamlessly from a place like the gym or a Pilates studio to the streets for brunch, even some pieces for work, right? And in the crowded market, this is something that really set them apart. Now, this wasn't just a random guess, right? It was a strategic response to shifting consumer behavior. Now, people were looking for style, but also comfort. They wanted everything in one package, especially during the rise of remote work, during the time of the pandemic. Fashion was super casualized a few years ago when we no longer had nice things to go to, right? Parties, weddings to attend. And actually, I think something that they have done is really magical in the way that they've executed on this positioning. So let's talk a little bit around their product strategy. Now, it really is a lesson that's formed and based on simplicity. Instead of launching an overwhelming range of products, they really honed in on essential pieces, right? Leggings, sports bras, sweatshirts, joggers, and basics in neutral and wearable tones. And this tight product line and range has really allowed them to perfect their offerings, but also grow the business and maintain consistent quality. They executed also a fairly limited drop model by releasing collections in small curated batches. They've created scarcity and demand, and this really taps into some of the psychological drivers that fuel fashion, right? And this strategy has not only helped them to manage their inventory risk and stay agile, an important move for a growing band, right? They don't have all the cash in the world. They don't have all of the space in the world to store said inventory. So they really don't have to think about supply chain in the big scale way that a Nike or Adidas might. And that's going to be costing them a lot too, right? it wasn't necessarily about offering more for them. It was about offering better and creating a sense of exclusivity around everyday essentials. They've also enhanced the quality of their products as they've learned, as they've grown, which they've been transparent about too. I think consumers have really appreciated that. Now, I want to switch back a little bit to their marketing because they really have shined, I think, in this area. They have shown an immense amount of authenticity. They've chosen community, especially in the earlier days, over celebrity, right? And they most recently did collab actually with Kendall Jenner, which was huge for them, but only after really driving that community feel over a number of years. And while many brands initially will throw big bucks at high-profile influencers, right? Adanola actually took a more of a grassroots approach and worked its way to Kendall Jenner. They built relationships with micro-influencers and real customers who genuinely love the brand. Now, I know the concept of influencer trips for brands is a big strategy. I mean, influencer marketing in itself is a whole industry, but actually there's something around community marketing, and they really have had an incredibly authentic approach. It felt real, not manufactured. And something I also have observed in them is their really organic social media growth as well. Their Instagram strategy is a masterclass in organic growth. They really leaned into user-generated content. If you go on their Instagram, it's mostly just regular girls wearing their clothes. You know, of course, they have the model shots on the website and so forth, their, campaigns, but a lot of it is just regular girls. And the minimalistic kind of approach in this is also fantastic. It's real people, real clothes. And actually, they have leaned also into really also creating things that are different. So within their leggings and sweatshirts and whatnot, they also think about maximum impact in their clothing. And their limited drops also sell out pretty quickly. They create a buzz. People don't just want Adanola. They felt like they had to get it before it was gone, right? That's a textbook scarcity tactic. And it doesn't also mean that it has to be executed in a poor manner. It's actually been executed with great finesse, I think. And I think something that brands can really take away is less is more for business. It's not about doing the most, right? It's about choosing strategically the path that you should take. Also, learning as you go. I think there's humility in a journey like Adanola's, and it's so clear to see. I also think as your business is growing and evolving, your consumers, even if you're a B2B business, your businesses, they appreciate that transparency. They appreciate that you're also learning and you're growing. And I think that's super, super important. Now, what I want to switch to gear to is a little bit more of the operational excellence. I know that operations is often a heavy and tough topic for a lot of businesses, right? But strategy and marketing, it's only an element of the story, right? Product strategy. But let's talk operations. Now, Adanola's ability to scale without losing their brand identity has really come down to smart operational decisions. They've got a super lean supply chain. By focusing on a limited range of products, they've also kept their supply chain lean. This has allowed for faster production cycles and better quality control as well. They've had great agility in their product development as well. They're quick to adapt to trends without overcommitting to also large, risky product lines. I know this is also a gripe with the brand, but a lot of things might not be back in stock for a long time. But actually, it's them making carefully articulated decisions in their supply chain, right? Not over-indexing on a particular item, particular stock. They're leaning into new connections. They're also leaning into kind of newer SKU ranges as well. And I think this agility in their product development is fantastic. Now, something they've also done, I think, really well is focus their channel strategy. They prioritize DTC, right? Direct-to-consumer sales through their own website. They've maintained strong control over their brand experience, even if they have then since partnered with incredible retailers like Selfridges and flannels and so forth in the UK. But it really is incredible to see them also stick to some of their grassroots in this case. And even when they have expanded to retailers, it's been carefully curated partners. So they really are a local feel brand, but they have global shipping. Despite being UK based, they've actually scaled internationally fantastically well. They don't feel like a faceless global brand. They've maintained that local community feel, and they've driven their energy as they've gone. And I think, again, that's something that we can all learn from. So what can we learn from Adanola's strategy, right, and their journey? Number one, I think, is focus on the gap. Own your gap. They identified a particular kind of uncharted niche in the market at the right time, and they've really sailed on those wins. Second, which I think is something that we can all incorporate, simplify to amplify. Less is more. Don't just think about more and more and more and more. Doing less but better is often the way to go when it comes to strategy execution. Now, number three, community. Community is currency. Your people and the connections that you make through your stakeholders, so your employees, your customers, your vendors, they are incredibly important, and learn from them. Have humility with them as well. Number four, which I think is one of my favorites, is operational agility. Scaling smart, not just fast. It really has helped them to maintain quality, but also brand integrity, right? And number five, there's something to be said here also about the way that this business understands human beings, even on the consumer front, right? They understand that scarcity drives desire. They understand that people want to see like customers, on their Instagram. And I think there's something there in the world of strategy execution about really understanding what works for your stakeholders and speaking their same language. So that's the story of Adanola, a brand that's executed simplicity with precision and built a super loyal community through authentic marketing and scaled smart with operational excellence. No matter the category that you're in, I think there's always something to be learned from these incredible brands that we're seeing rise to the top. So if you're building a brand or refining your strategy, take a page out of Adanola's playbook. Sometimes the most effective strategy isn't about just doing more. It's about doing better. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with your fellow strategists as well. And if you've got a brand that you want us to dissect, please do drop us a message on LinkedIn, and make sure to tune in next week, where we will be giving you another incredible topic on everything strategy. Now, thanks for listening, and remember that great strategies are only as good as their execution. So take action, make it happen, and see the results. See you in the next episode for your weekly dose of strategy. Thank you.